First of all, great to be here, and just want to express my thanks to Commissioner Petiti, Big Ten staff, and then all of you for covering this event this week. Certainly a big thing. As just mentioned, it's my 27th Big Ten Media Day, 28th preseason overall, and certainly a lot of things have changed, but there's a lot that's stayed the same as well. A lot of conversation, especially the last couple of years here, just about the business of college football, and rightfully so. But, I think the good thing about all of this for all of us is this kind of signifies the start of us transitioning into pure football and just being with our team in a football environment. So that's really what we look forward to. A couple of weeks back, the biological clock kicks in. You start feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous just about the anticipation of the season, trying to be ready, make sure we're prepared and ready to give our best in a pretty competitive environment. But still, the best thing overall is working with great people. And that hasn't changed my time at Iowa, and even going back to 1981. Just the people in our building. We've got a great coaching staff, tremendous support staff, and most of all our players going back to 81 have been fantastic to work with. And that really hasn't changed. They love the game for the right reasons, and the other part is the thing that makes football, I think, so unique is just the valuing of the teamwork and the aspect of teamwork, the role that it plays in building a successful team. So about our team specifically, we started back January 20th. That was our first day of class at Iowa, and that's really the first time we came together. Obviously, we've had a few add-ons in June. 11 high school players joined us then. But our year, we're typically or traditionally have had a pretty high retention rate, and this year was really no different. But the big difference was we had a big senior class and a couple guys that left, so we brought in roughly 30 newcomers at midterm back in January, half being transfers and half of them being first-year high school players coming in, starting college. And all but one of the transfers was an underclassman, so one senior in the group and then everybody else younger. So I bring that up in that, it's really been a good learning process for us the last 7+ months of the team, really learning about the program, what we're trying to get accomplished, and just happy to say the effort's been good. It's been a group that's really been attentive, and they've been responsive. And then the other part is with every group or every phase that we go through, I think we've seen growth in terms of the cohesiveness and also our leadership base. So those are all key things if you're going to have a good season, certainly, and so far so good. Personnel-wise or teamwork-wise, first question obviously is going to be the quarterback position. And the bottom line is this: right now we don't know the answer, and I can only tell you we'll know the answer when we know it, hopefully, and sometime in August maybe that'll become apparent. It may be end season, can't rule out any possibilities, but the bottom line is we don't know really who our starter is at this point, but really pleased with the guys that are competing and the growth that they've shown in the program now, year plus, so that part's good. I think our skill positions outside of the quarterback position were relatively experienced, feel pretty good there. And the offensive line, we graduated through really good players, but I think we've got a pool right now of 7, 8 guys, maybe 9 that have a chance to play significant reps right now, just not sure where they're going to end up, what positions. We'll figure that out as we go along. Defensively, if you work from the back end up, I think we've got a lot of good candidates competing. Really unsure who's the starting 4 or 5 will be. The linebacker situation kind of similar. Jaden Montgomery's back, obviously, but then we've got a bunch of guys that have been with us that we expect to play really well for us this coming year. And our biggest concern, our biggest area of focus right now would be the defensive line. 7 of our top 8 guys from a year ago are gone. So anxious to see how that goes. Saw a lot of growth in the spring and expect to see more in August. And the one thing I will say there, I can just foresee us probably rotating players on a more frequent basis than maybe we had the last couple of years. Don't envision anybody playing 500 snaps this season, but we'll let all that shake out. And then probably the most significant portion of our football team that is going to bear watching will be our special teams phase. And point being there that we lost every specialist that we had. We lost our place kicker, certainly. Had a great career. Drew Stevens did an unbelievable job. We lost our deep snapper, is gone. have a new punter, contention there, a battle going for that position. And then Caden Wheaton is the best return guy I've ever been around in my career. He graduated too. So some of the advantages that we've gained through special teams over the last couple of years, we're going to have to ride the train a little bit this year and exhibit some patience, because I think typically with new specialists, there's always going to be a little bit of an up and down factor there. So at least that's been my experience. But that's an area that we're really, keeping our focus on as well. Just a couple of things here. Obviously, our program, just think it's imperative for us to be successful. We've got to really do a good job of handling each phase. Our players hear that a lot from me, and so far they've really done a good job, I think, each step of the way. Right now, the only thing that really matters is what we do in the month of August. Camp will start next Wednesday, so that's really all that's paramount at this stage. So certainly looking forward to this season. The last 5 years, seen a lot of change, a lot of the variables in college football, and wouldn't even want to venture a guess where it's all going. But right now, what happens between now and December is pretty much laid out, and that's where our focus is. So honored to be at Iowa, honored to be starting a new season, and certainly looking forward to another, highly competitive season. And I'll throw it out for questions.
Coach, on your left side here, third row.
Coach Lynn Harrington, Stay Alive in Par 5. How you doing today?
Good, Lee. How about you?
Oh, all right. Good to see you again. So the commissioner was up there earlier, and he was talking about in a favor of, the playoffs expanding to 24 teams. And with you being the longest tenure coach in the FBS, can you talk about how potential expansion can benefit a place like Iowa after you won like 10 wins twice this decade?
Yeah, I'll go back to when they went from 2 to 4. My feeling then was, if we're going to go to 4, you may as well go bigger, a bigger number at that stage. To me, just having 2 teams play for it, there's some subjectivity there, obviously, and revenue opportunity, all that other stuff that comes with playoffs. But when we went to 4, it really kind of, I think, minimized or started to cheapen some of the bowl experiences, more players opting out, that type of thing. And, silly me, I thought playing in the Orange Bowl or the Rose Bowl or whatever was a big deal. But, that attitude started to grow with that. So my attitude is if we're going to go 2 to 4, why not go bigger? And whether you want to debate 16 or 24, I'm in favor of 24 certainly. But the other part of the story is I think our focus needs to be on some other issues that are probably bigger to college football right now than the playoff discussion. But totally in favor of 24 to answer the question. I think it benefits everybody, not just a school like ours.
On your left side, Coach.
Madison Hertzig with the Gazette. How are you?
Good, Madison. How about you?
Doing well, thank you. I wanted to ask about bringing in Tom Moore over the offseason as a senior consultant to yourself and offensive advisor. What does he bring to help you and also help this team and this offense continue to evolve this season?
Just wisdom and experience, and you can't put a price tag on that sometimes. Tom's an amazing person, played at Iowa, never started the game as a quarterback, that was his position, but found a way to help the team as a kicker and a punter. And but he's got such an appreciation for his experience, and that's a few years ago, late 50s, 1960. And he's got an appreciation for the game of football and the people involved. So he stands to me for all that's good in football. And then as far as a coach goes, I think one of the beauties of Tom is his wisdom is extensive, but his clarity, his ability just to really cut to concise points that really matter. He's got an innate ability to do that, and to have him with us it's a benefit for everybody in our building, everybody in our coaching staff. I'll start with me, but everybody has benefited from it, and our players as well. They gravitate towards him. They want to ask him questions, and to have his experience available to everybody is just it's been a real feel very fortunate to have that.
On your left side, Coach, in the green here.
Plus, I want to get somebody in the building older than me. So anyway, yeah.
Hi, Coach. How are we doing?
Good.
Over here on your left.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yep.
Owen McCarthy, Impact 89 FM. You mentioned the personnel that you're losing on special teams, but how do you expect to make up for the loss of special teams coordinator LeVar Woods?
That's part of the equation, certainly. And I'll just go back. When we started 28 years ago, our first building block was strength conditioning. Second thing was special teams, and Lester Erb at that time was our coordinator. We've had a real strong tradition, and LeVar did a great job, and I'll come back to that. But every guy that's handled the special teams has done a great job. We've made a commitment to it. As a program, a lot of people talk about things, but we actually commit meeting time to it, practice time. And every guy, if you look back historically, you think about Bob Sanders, Dallas Clark, two of our best players, ever. Obviously, two of our best players in the early years, they cut their teeth on special teams. That's how they became notable players. And then, when they were veteran guys, they're fighting us to get on special teams. Greenway, the same thing, Abdul Hodge. So it's just been part of our DNA, if you will. And fast forward to LeVar. When LeVar took over, he had coached other positions, linebackers, tight ends. That's when the NCAA allowed our staff to expand, everybody's staff to expand. So we could, specify and have a sole special teams coach, and LeVar is the first one that we've had. Did a great job, and I'm very confident Chris Polizzi has a similar background. He's been a coordinator, defensive coordinator for many years. He's been in front of the room. He knows how to organize things. And we're not changing the playbook, so it's more about the players than it always has been. In my mind, I think what we've done has been fairly solid in all three phases over the years, but it's all about the players and their stories, how they develop. I'll go back to Drew Stevens. Nobody was worse his first spring 4 years ago or 5 years ago. And then that fall, he did a great job, but I would never predicted it on the spring. So that's a fun part to see who is going to emerge and do a great job.
Coach, first row right on your right side here.
Okay, yep.
Good afternoon, Coach. I'm Erie Martin, Big Ten student U, University of Illinois. You stated previously how, you've seen the changes throughout college football, the change in the playoffs, transfer portal, introduction of NIL. Just what are your thoughts on the current state of college football?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned. And to me, that's our single biggest issue right now. And I kind of prefer to work with boundaries and with a system, system in place. I spent 6 years in the NFL, and I really don't have any aspirations of ever going back there. Haven't since I left, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've enjoyed every job I've ever had. But the two things I really appreciate about the NFL contracts, our contracts, they mean something, and there's a salary cap. So in the NFL, and the other thing is equal enforcement. Everybody gets enforced. All rules get enforced the same ways, all 32 teams. So you have 32 teams operating in the same system, same set of circumstances and rules. So it really gets down to the players and the coaches. Imagine that. And the more we can move in that direction. I'm old enough to remember the 70s. And I'll cherry pick an easy one for you. When I got to Iowa in 81, we went to the Rose Bowl, first time in 19 years we had had a winning season. First time in 13 years that someone other than two teams had been to the Rose Bowl. And I would suggest, the Big Ten's been healthier since 1981 than it was during the 70s. That's just me as a participant. That's how I look at it. And I think if we're not careful, we could go down that road again as a bigger enterprise, college football.
Coach Ferentz, thank you so much for your time.
Okay. Thank you.